Morning, guys. This is the third time I'm making this video. Uh, Sometimes I get sidetracked and go off talking about other things than what I intended to. And also, I apologize for the picture in my videos. This is a brand new laptop, and I went on settings, and there's nothing that I can change in there. So I don't know what's going on. It also has been freezing up on me, so. Anyway, I hope that your Thanksgiving was delightful, that the food warmed your hearts, and any of you who don't have family to spend it with, I hope you found someone to spend it with. For me, I'm always thankful. E- Every day I wake up, I don't say it, but I know it. I am blessed. Just the fact that I'm still breathing, I still have the opportunity to challenge myself, to better myself. But honestly, this point in my life, I am totally content. I am I've accomplished goals that I always saw myself accomplishing even at a young age. And for example, owning a home. This is my third home. This is Tony's second home, but my third home. And you know, I just feel that if you try to do the right thing, that eventually the goodness will catch up with you when it's the right timing in your life. Uh, I just posted two videos that I forgot to download or upload. Excuse me, guys. I haven't yawned since I started video number one. I think it's just my brain needs a lot of oxygen to do these videos. I'm a talker, so I have to really try to control that so I don't have hour videos. As you can see, I already have 20 to 25-minute videos. But anyway, get the chatter over. Uh, I just feel that in the choices in my life that I've made them. I've followed my heart in many of them. And although I've had people use and abuse me, as I've said, I've gone back to those people a few times, hoping for the benefit of the doubt that they do love me and care about me as a person and not just what I can do for them. And eventually, it didn't work out. But I learned through those experiences. Yes, I was heartbroken. Yes, I cried. I drank, uh, poured myself into the alcohol to numb everything. I wasn't a drinker every day, but when I did drink, I drank. And I got through it though, you know, slowly but surely. I got up and put one foot in front of the other each day, and it just got better and better. But I'm always thankful. It doesn't take a holiday for me to realize what I have and what I don't have. And the things I don't have are just monetary things. We all would like stuff. It's one of the, I think, endorphin rushes we get. Uh, Buying stuff, having toys, having material things, whatever it is that floats your boat. Excuse me. For some people, it's a simple video game. For me, it would be tools or, you know, tractors or anything like that. So I had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I made it wonderful because my attitude was I don't care what anybody feels or thinks or whatever. And I spend it with my family. I don't care they're all sitting in their phones and not talking. And that used to bother me. I just did my thing. I carved the turkey. I carved the turkey every year, have for umpteen years, longer than Tony and I's been together. And after dinner, when everybody was sitting in their phones, I just got up and started cleaning the kitchen, which I do every year too. I cannot stand to have things just sit around when we're not going to uh, probably eat again, because everybody, we eat late. Uh, Maybe desserts, but not food. So I do up the dishes. I get the turkey deboned. I cut up the ham off the bone and put it in bags or containers, or whatever. And that's how I handled my Thanksgiving. I felt good about it. I was happy to be with family, and just go from there. So real quick, I want to talk about the difference the differences in testosterone and estrogen that I have experienced. Remember, this is based only on my experience or what I have observed. Um, so in the very beginning of my transition, there was probably about 30, 40 of us guys that were all starting to transition around the same time. There's only that I know of. There's just me still making videos. Yeah, I haven't seen a video from Dan will once in a while make a video on his what's going on, but yeah, I don't see anybody. I've gone through my subscriptions, and a lot of the guys have taken down their content, and it's sad. I would like to see how they're doing, and some guys didn't even do so well after transition. So I want to talk about, and I've mentioned this into some videos, so it might be a repeat for some of you. I'm not sure how far you go back, but under the estrogen influence, I could multitask. I mean, I was the type of person that could run a back office with no problem and have a staff doing it. Uh, I was known for that. I was known for my integrity. I was known for my efficiency. So that was something I was proud of. Also, I was the kind of person that had, well, I still am. I have empathy for everyone and everything living. However, under the estrogen hormone, I would cry easier. I would not want to deal with traumatic things like, well, I did deal with everything. Never mind. I guess I'm kind of putting present tense into past tense, and I'll explain that later. But I was the kind of person, regardless of what hormones I have in my body, that stepped up to the plate and handled what business needed to be handled. And usually, if I was in a relationship, it was me handling the business that needed to be handled because I was taking care of my family as I saw it. So anyway, so that's basically what happened, except for all the female physical issues. Uh, you know, um, Emotionally, I was a little bit more sentimental, uh, but I don't think that's a wrong thing. I think it's very good for women to be sentimental. I think it's good that women are multitaskers. I think it's great that women are multi-thinkers. Uh, I truly believe now, experiencing the two hormones, that the male hormone was built in a way to protect, to hunt, to gather, for physical strength, for endurance, um, for war, back in the day. And the female hormone was made to handle everything else. When the guys were gone for months and months, war, hunting, weeks at a time, the women handled the campsite. They fed their families. They took care of the kids. Whatever they did, they did. They did the farming, whatever was left for them to do. They did everything. And I honestly feel that both sexes, both hormones, give out strengths, different strengths, but I still feel they're equal. They equal out the male and female as far as necessity. Okay, so you can't have a baby without a male, and you can't have a baby without a female. And basically, without the female multitasking and taking care of the household and doing what she does, and leaving it to the man to do that, he wouldn't do it as well, and vice versa. And I take that back. We'll talk about the future recently, but back in the day when man and woman first started, we're talking about farming and all that stuff. Women could do it, and women took care of things in this country while the wars were going on. But men just have the ability physically to do them probably faster because of weight, because of strength, and are able to probably last longer. But now, I'm not saying that men were greater than women and women were greater than men. I honestly believe if you said and did a wrote out everything men and women were strong at back in the day, you would see that they needed each other. They're like this, but it's just like a basketball has strengths and a soccer player has strengths. But that doesn't mean their sport is any better than the other. So yeah, so going into testosterone now, yes, I gained 17 pounds, I think it was originally. I noticed that although I had big muscles and I was strong as a female, I noticed that my body started sculpting. So you could see the muscles better. You could see my chest, my shoulders. And when I had chest surgery, which was only 6 months after I started testosterone, boy, you could see my pectorals muscles. You can tell that I had a male chest the whole time. But my shoulders and my arms, they grew with muscle. I could do more physically. I could lift more physically. But I did lose the multitasking. I did lose the sentimental. I'm still sentimental, but I don't cry at the drop of a hat. I'm not. I still will tear up if something is really heartwarming on TV or something sad or something's really happy. I still will tear up because of the empathy I have for the storyline. And in our minds, when we watch TV, it's like real life anyway. So, but when I see people crying because of something they endured, and I think I try to put myself in that position, and it brings up tears, and I just think that poor baby. But and then joy when they share that they had a breakthrough, or that they're happy and something's going on good in their life, or people who haven't seen each other in a long time and they reunite, or whatever it is. I can tear up. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, but I still can tear up, and I like that about me because I am a sensitive person. Before female, I hated it because I would cry at everything. Also, testosterone has allowed me to step back from things, easy to detach. Doesn't mean you don't love someone, doesn't mean that you don't have love or empathy. It just means that step up comes into play. And so by being able to step up, protect, gather, hunt, you push everything else aside, and you detach from everything. You can't think about your family. You can't think about going on a hunting trip for 2 weeks and sit and worry about your family at home. You have to detach that. And I think testosterone does that for males. And that's why women so many times wonder, how can they just go on and do and not? You don't know what the dude's going through. You don't know internally. But I think we have the ability to be able to detach ourselves so that we don't drown in those emotions, so we don't get overwhelmed and not be able to function in those emotions. And I guess kind of an example what I'm talking about, uh, one of the feral cats that we trapped a year ago, she was the mama cat that we saw have two litters here. and both litters were used as either coyote bait, owl bait, or hawk bait. It's sad, but that's what happens out here. And we, well, Tony was out working in her garden. See, I kind of got lost where I was. And she heard the meowing, and it was a cry. And she looked over, and in the tumbleweed, or not tumbleweed, but some weeds that they let grow on the property next to us, she saw Fiat, which that's what Critters with Litters named her, the place that fixed her. They take ferals in and do them for free. They named her Fiat, so we just called her Fiat. And so she texted me and she took a picture of her, and I went out there and took a beach towel with me, an old beach towel. And in my mind, I was saying, okay, what am I going to face and what am I going to do if I can get her? And so I went over there, and I she cried at me. She looked over and she was crying. She wasn't, you know, she was crying. And so I kind of threw the towel on her. She got scared and kind of tried to pull herself away, but she was dragging her back in. So her back was broke. And I picked her up, and it was summer and it was hot in that towel. I know it was, but she was in shock. She was scared and she was in pain. So we took her to the hospital, and they put her down. The reason why I'm telling you this story is because I would have cried whether I did it while I was taking care of her or I did it afterwards. I would have just cried. This time I was able to handle the business, detach myself, and then afterwards talk about it kind of detached so I don't get emotional, but talk about it that it was so sad that happened to her and I hope she didn't suffer so much. And we had talks about that. I thought about Fiat for about a week or so. And so there's where I notice a difference in how I handle things, how I step up to the plate. And I don't even question it. I didn't look at Tony and say, well, what do you want me to do about it? Or, oh, someone will find her. No, we care about animals and we don't want them ever to suffer, whether they're wild or not. And so we did what we were going to do. We did what we had to do. A lot of people out here, there are so many animals that are dropped off that when they get injured by coyotes, attacked, or their dogs attack them, or whatever the case is, and they're bad like Fiat was, they will take care of putting them down themselves. And that's just life out here. These are farmers. They're used to stray dogs from people dumping them all the time. You see them emancipated. You see them, scared. Uh, but anyway, see, I'm going off on another tangent there. But I was able to detach myself so that I could handle the situation. And that's the differences that I've seen. Now, I do want to put a little thing in here. If you haven't started transitioning yet, or you're in the beginning of your transitions and you're saying, hey, Ethan, yeah, I'm starting to feel a little bit different. I do know that you'll start feeling more confident. Number one, you're becoming your authentic self. You should start feeling confident. You should start feeling self assurance with yourself. It may be a slow process, it doesn't hit you all at once. But I know when I walked into a room, I felt better about myself because people could actually start seeing me, or they knew what they were going to see eventually. It was very hard in the beginning for me. I had slow changes. I had umpteen pronoun issues. I didn't get mad, never got mad because I realized people are transitioning with me. The only thing that hurt me, that probably was the most devastating to me, was my sister said, I have to grieve first the death of my sister. And I was like, I'll have to be honest. I didn't say it, but I said it to myself, really? I'm still here. I would still be here for you no matter what. But I don't know how she's viewed me as a person because she's never told me. That sister will never give me a compliment, but yet she had to grieve me. I was just like, but anyway, so yeah, you get a little uptight in the beginning, but be prepared. People are going to mispronounce you. They are going to forget your name, what name you want to be called. They're going to get confused. It's going to take a little while. I'm 11 years this month into transitioning with testosterone, and I still will get sheed by my mother. I still will get sheed by a couple of our friends. They correct themselves real quick, but it tells me that in their minds they still see me as the other person, no matter how much I look different. No matter, I don't really know if I act different. I probably have some mannerisms that are different. I might even smell different to them. I don't know, but yeah, they still do. I don't say anything anymore. I used to correct them. I don't anymore because I realize they don't realize what they're doing. They're not doing it on purpose. And my mom, I the last comment I made to her was, the more I'm around you, the more you see me. She goes, really? Just, I said, yeah, but she hasn't done it. She's corrected herself. So you know, we don't know really how they feel about our transitions. Even if they accept us, I've come to realize that maybe a lot of people just tolerate me because I'm blood. Maybe if it was their choice, they probably would never be around me. Uh, who knows? But I know I'm not involved in my family's lives anymore, and that was happened before transition because the kids all grew up, they got married, they start having babies off on their own. That happens. That's what life is. It happened with my aunts, with all of us. It's just the cycle of life. So my relationship has changed with all of them. But the difference now, through all the politics of the last 5 years, I've chose not to be around them if I don't have to, because I don't agree with their ideology. I don't agree with their politics. And it hurts me to think that they would back politics that would take everything they could away from me and make my life miserable. And in that, being that said, my family's ignorant. They don't they don't follow politics. They don't know everything. They just basically wanted their guns saved. That's the only reason why they voted, and that's the only reason why they registered Republican. So, and I know that is because they're not political. You could talk to them all the till your breath is gone about politics, and they wouldn't know what you're talking about. Anyway, so yeah, so you are going to have to choose. Eventually, you'll be more confident, you'll be more reassured, and you'll start seeing things like an open book. But also remember, while I'm talking to you about all this, it's how you react to the situation. I can't change what they think. I can't, no matter how much I try to educate them, I can see in their faces it's going in one ear and out the other. They don't have a clue of what I'm saying, or they just go back to their basic why they are disagree with it. And I quit even talking about it. So that's why I walked away from Facebook. Those of you who are friends on Facebook, because I couldn't stand the politics. I can't stand people thinking they have the right to comment on everybody's post and be disrespectful, be hateful. And I'm talking, I don't care if you're LGBTQ, black, yellow, red, purple, green. No one has a right to put somebody else down for who they are, what they believe, who they love, whatever. Now, you get somebody that promotes violence to other people, that's a different story. That blatantly causes harm to other people, that's a different story. But when someone's expressing themselves or just trying to have free speech, we should really just respect the person. I would love to educate them, but you're not going to educate them. That's what I do with my family now. I just say, "Oh, you know, my great nephew is 15. He just turned 16. He was 15. Found out he got his girlfriend pregnant, and that was devastating to the whole family. He's the angel, the favorite of my sister's grandkids, and Yeah. So I didn't. I was like, oh, she should get an abortion, or she should. They should think about it. They've got their whole lives. They're both 15. Da 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 da. They just finished sophomore year in high school, and I didn't. I stepped back from it when it was mentioned to me. I said, oh, okay, yeah, yeah, I heard. You know, and it's that's how I handled it because I didn't want to go there. I didn't want to voice my opinion. I didn't want to, because what I do notice, regardless if you're transgender, LGBTQ, black, yellow, white, purple, green, whatever country you come from, as you get older and you learn more about life, you tend to have more opinions about things to younger generations. And basically, your family hears about it because that's who you're around. And it reminds me of my grandparents and how they used to say, oh, the world's getting bad. When they would look at us and we would be dressing different and whatever, and I would just look at them and go, gosh, you guys are out of touch. The world's not getting bad, or worse. But that's the way it is. So I've talked long enough. This is me checking in with you guys, wishing you all happy holidays, and give yourself some credit and give yourself a pat on the back, and don't plan on a diet for the first of the year. Plan on, just because if you change your food and don't change your emotional state, the food changing your food's not going to help you in the long run. So let's figure out why we have addiction. Let's figure out why we have physical ailments. Are we carrying stress inward? Are we not getting it outward? There's opportunity for everybody in this country, even the homeless, to not be homeless. So let's look at that. If want to make some resolutions, and take it one phase at a time. Pick one little thing. If you're angry at the world, figure out why you're angry. If it's over a specific thing, then deal with that specific thing. Go to a counselor, get help. But just try to be kind to one another. That's a big thing. If you can do that next year, you'll find your life changing. All right, guys. We'll talk to you next year. Take care.